This is the AEW Dynamite April 2nd, 2025 full show results video which takes place at Peoria Civic Center in Peoria, Illinois. The show started with the mixed tornado match between Death Riders, Jon Moxley and Marina Shafir, versus Shane Swerve Strickland and Willow Nightingale. The match starts off with Strickland and Moxley begin brawling on the outside as Nightingale and Shafir go at it on the other side of the ring. Strickland and Nightingale then send Moxley and Shafir crashing into adjacent barricades, but Shafir hits a suplex on Nightingale on the floor and helps Moxley set up a table. Nightingale then powerbombs Shafir on top of the two men to break the hold, then brawls with Shafir on the outside as Moxley and Strickland exchange strikes in the middle of the ring. We see Moxley holds the ropes open while Shafir chokes Willow, strikes, John hooks her, underhooks, but Swerve comes back and threatens Marina with big pressure. In the end, Strickland sets up for house call on Moxley, but accidentally hits Shafir. Nightingale then sends Moxley crashing through another table set up on the outside, then hits a Dr. Bomb on Shafir to win the match by pinfall. After the match, Moxley nails Nightingale and retreats through the crowd with Shafir. Renee Paquette interviews FTR backstage and referee Paul Turner is there and Dax Harwood apologizes to him and says he asked Tony Khan if he could give him the $10,000 fine directly, and he gives him a check. Turner thanks him for it and walks off as the interview continues. Dax says he loves cash more than almost anyone in this world and 11 years together can't be eclipsed by one bad night, and he tells him directly that he's so sorry and it was the heat of the moment and he thought he was a security guard but he'd never ever put hands on him and they're gonna eclipse themselves by winning the tag titles. He goes for a huge but Cash shoves him away and says they're brothers and they'll be fine on Sunday, but after Sunday, they'll have to talk. The next match happened between Penelope Ford versus Toni Storm. The match starts off with both women wasting no time and going after each other. Storm then hits a suplex on Ford and looks to hit a hip attack on her, but Ford moves out of the way and dropkicks Storm onto the apron. Storm then bites Ford's lip, then delivers some right hands on her and hits her with a press before delivering more right hands on her and nailing her. In the end, Penelope Ford hits a gutbuster on Storm, but Storm responds with Storm Zero and won the match by pinfall. After the match, Megan Bayne makes her way out and sarcastically applauds Storm for her win. Bayne then stares down Toni Storm in the ring. We then head to the back, where Renee Paquette asks Swerve Strickland about Willow Nightingale. Strickland doesn't really provide a medical update, but he promises revenge by the end of the night on Jon Moxley and references Willow's history of neck problems.
I have a huge announcement for you. If you are a fan of intense, hard-hitting action scenes that you rarely see on YouTube, then introducing our sponsor, BigScreenAction.com to you, the ultimate destination for extreme action and adrenaline-pumping fight scenes. Check out the Dark Avengers, one of the thrilling clips that you are watching right now on your screen. Big Screen pushes action and drama to the next level. If you are a true high-octane entertainment fan, this is the place where you need to be.
Back to the show, MVP and Bobby Lashley make their entrance in street clothes, with commentary informing us that Shelton Benjamin is having travel issues, and before Bob can say anything, MJF's music hits, and he comes to the ring. He apologizes for the interruption and tells MVP he looks fantastic tonight. He puts all three Hurt Syndicate guys over as how great they are and says Lashley's been around the block but now he's in AEW and that's the block that he built. He says that him joining the Hurt Syndicate is just good business and everybody knows that. He puts a hand on Bob's shoulder and says he might not want MJF, but he needs MJF. Lashley says that out of respect for MVP he's not gonna leave him laying, but he does not like him and he does not trust him and the Hurt Syndicate damn well does not need him. So unless he proves otherwise, he needs to get out of his face and out of his ring right now. Friedman says okay, he'll prove himself, and he thanks them both for their time. Then Bill and Keith make their way down to the ring for the next match of the night. Bill and Keith then tell Lashley to sit down and watch them work. Then we saw a match between Learning Tree versus two enhancement talents, and the result of this match was Learning Tree won the match by pinfall with a chokeslam from Big Bill. Post-match, Bill gets on the mic and says they hoop Top Flight's ass, and they hoop these dudes today, and on Sunday they want a tag title match so they can whoop the Hurt Syndicate's ass. MVP goes to say something but Bob stops him and gives them a yeah sure whatever wave and they walk off together. Renee Paquette interviews Mercedes backstage about a tag match she has on Collision. Harley Cameron jumps in with the puppet and pitches a team name of Train Station Money Wrath and Excellence Gone Choo Choo. Mercedes tells her just to stay out of her way on Collision. The next match happened between Blake Christian and Lee Johnson versus Kevin Knight and Will Ospreay, and the result of this match was Kevin Knight and Will Ospreay won the match by pinfall with a diving lariat from Knight on Lee Johnson. Post-match, Toni Schiavone informs Knight and Ospreay that their first-round Owen match will happen at Dynasty on Sunday. Will shakes his hand, but Kevin pulls him in and has a few words for him before letting him leave and soaking in the adoration of the crowd. The ups are somewhere in the bowls of the arena and Samoa Joe says we may wonder why he started this group in the first place, and it's because he knew the battlefield was changing and he knew he'd have to bring a new arsenal when he came back to the battlefield, and they will be in the building on Sunday, watching all and seeing all, and don't let them catch you lacking. The next match happened between Brody King versus Lance Archer, and the result of this match was Brody King defeated Lance Archer when Brody King hits a low crossbody on Archer and follows it up with a body slam. Archer then hits a spinning slam on King, then follows it up with a chokeslam and a cannonball in the corner. King then nails Archer with a clothesline to win the match by pinfall. In the main event of the show, we saw a match between Adam Copeland versus Claudio Castagnoli. The match starts off with Claudio jumping Cope and the referee checks on Cope. Both men then spill to the floor and Cope is sent hard into the barricade. Cope then manages to spear Claudio to the floor through the middle rope, but gets stuffed by a European uppercut when he goes for a second attempt. Neutralizer connects by Claudio, but Adam Copeland kick out. Claudio gets in Bryce's face about it. He goes and gets a pair of chairs from the timekeeper's area. Sliding one chair under Copeland's face, Remsburg admonishes him and takes the second chair from him. Copeland hits a low blow while Bryce isn't looking, and then Adam Copeland hits a spear to defeat Claudio by pinfall. Renee Paquette is backstage looking for an interview with Shane Strickland, and Strickland finishes an argument with Prince Nana and apologizes and says with all due respect, he's looking for her husband right now. Hangman Adam Page chases after him and tells him he's wasting his time as security swarms to pull them apart. Hanger says he promised to never let him hold the title again. They bicker about what they have done to each other. Page tells Shane that he deserved to have his house burnt down and Strickland says he knows he does, and Hangman doesn't quite know what to do with this, so he just leaves. Death Riders come around the corner and attack Strickland, and Moxley throws him through an old window that was laid in the hallway for some reason. They drag Swerve out through the broken glass and to ringside. Beating him down some more, throwing Swerve into the ring, all five of them surround him and hold him up. John jaws at him and slaps him across his face, and Wheeler Yuta dumps a paint can full of broken glass out in the ring. Claudio scoops him up and hits powerbomb into the broken glass. Swerve sits up and stares them down, his back covered in glass. Strickland stands ramrod straight in defiance, bellowing his rage as the Death Riders look on. On a scale 1 to 10, how much you would rate this week's AEW Dynamite show? Please tell me in the comments section. Do not forget to subscribe the channel because this gives me a motivation to work continuously. Just stay tuned with the Wrestling Battle for the more updates and video, and thanks for watching.